Walmart store knocked shoppers to the ground in Grand Rapids, Michigan at 5 in the morning. Despite several people falling to the ground, shoppers charged ahead, fixated on door.
Ooh, child. Alright, so we're back to the shitty time of year, Black Friday. I think I specifically see this day as the devil just because I've worked in retail since I was 16 years old. Um, when I was that young, I actually loved it. Time went really fast. I loved interacting with customers. I worked in a toy store for the first 3 years of having a retail job, so around this time of year was amazing. You were running into all the parents getting toys for their kids. Then I moved into like American Eagle, H&M, The Gap, worked at those kind of retail stores, and finally ended at Loft. And it really, really was only ever good because of your coworkers. The companies have slowly taken away any luxuries that us employees would enjoy. I mean, I remember uh, Black Fridays where you were allowed to have food and drink on the floor, and when you were interacting with customers, it was just a more relaxed environment with more interaction between customer and employee, and it just felt more festive. But then I was looking into what Black Friday is, and it has been around for a while, back to the 50s or 60s, I think it can be traced. And Black Friday was initially marketed as a retailer's way to come out of the red and financially get into the black. And into the black basically means you're making money. Falling into the red means you were suffering. So Black Friday was basically a retailer's dream to try to get out of the debt that they had gotten themselves into throughout the entire year. On Wikipedia, it was talking about the trend of what we know Black Friday for now, starting in 2000 or the early 2000s. I remember that time well. That is when I started in the retail world, and Black Friday had been around before then. I remember my mom and her friends would sometimes go to department stores like Macy's or JCPenney's or Sears because they'd have a gift with a purchase if you went on Friday. It wasn't nearly what it is now. That mess you saw at the beginning of this video, that is some sloppy boots. Like, I don't even want to be involved in that. As a customer, a patron, somebody consuming a good, I would never shop on this day. I never have, and I don't intend to. However, I love it as a spectator sport. I think it is fabulous to go and watch people act like zoo animals over a $50 deal on a TV or a toaster free with purchase. I'm so confused by how consumer driven we are as we go into holiday seasons, where we try to tell youth that it's not about money or gifts, it's about love and charity and feeling part of the community. We're just putting out the wrong example, is basically all that's happening. So, not to come down on anybody who's Black Friday shopping, because I know you can find some amazing deals. I have worked for a plethora of retailers, and some of them do offer incredible things to the customers. But also, just to know, there's a side to the story for the employees. Those employees are giving up quality time with their families over holidays, and now retailers are opening on Thanksgiving. Like, this is a trend. It said on Wikipedia it had started in 2011. Major retailers started pushing for earlier and earlier opening times. I remember when I worked at the toy store, we opened at 4 a.m., but we were a toy store in a town that only had one competitor for a toy store. So we opened early, but I remember the rest of the mall would not open until 6. So I was reading on Wikipedia that it's been opening earlier and earlier at different department stores until Walmart in 2012 actually pushed it over the edge and started opening on midnight of Thanksgiving. This is forcing employees who work at these places to leave Thanksgiving dinner, to rearrange plans, to ruin plans with their families. It's really, really disruptive. It makes it so you can't go out of town. And people like to say, well, it's just a retail job. Like, tell them you can't work it. If you do that, you lose your job, or you risk how you look in the eye of management. If you don't want a promotion, cool, yeah, do that. But if you become the person who requests off holidays, or if you are the person who refuses to work holidays, you're going to get pigeonholed and you're not going to be promoted. I was that guy. I was like, if there was something going on and my mom wanted me home or somebody was coming into town, I requested it off. A lot of times managers would sleuthily fill you in for a day, so like they'd make you do Saturday instead. And I was like, well, no, I blocked off the weekend. If I'm not available, I'm not available. Sorry, I can't sell you a sweater. Like, stupid. It just really bothers me how they treat employees. It bothers me how little recognition the retail employees get. That day is brutal. They are there hours before they open. They have to pick up after you all day. Like, it just doesn't end. The madness doesn't end. The one good part about working that stupid shift is there's food supplied all the time. Every retailer I've ever worked for has supplied lunch. Hopefully that happens everywhere. But honestly, the more we're promoting, the more we're giving into this, we're taking time away from families. These holidays are for families, people. Like, they're not to go and consume goods you can get any other day in the year. Demand that stores stay closed for Thanksgiving and the day after, and you'll get these deals on another day. I mean, looking into this stuff, Cyber Monday is already almost a bigger beast than Black Friday, and that doesn't make anybody have to go to work on a holiday. Like, that's a great thing. Utilize that. Take advantage of those deals. But just think more about what you're doing when you decide that you want $100 off of that game console or computer, and how that affects all of the employees that have to work for that store where they make no money and get no recognition and yet still have to deal with some of the crabbiest people in the world. When I've worked retail, you get talked down to, you get treated like a personal shopper. Trust me, it takes thick skin and a strong ego to work in retail. Like, seriously, you have to be able to just handle everybody because you see everybody on this day. And that's the other thing. You cannot go shopping on these days and expect to get the pleasantries and the happy how you doins and all of that stuff throughout the day. There are going to be highs and lows. I know from experience those kids are jacked up on Red Bull and coffee and Mountain Dew, eating sugar all day. You have to stay awake. Most people are working 10 to 12-hour shifts this day. You usually do not work just an 8-hour shift. There's just things. There's things that people need to know. There's things in the retail world that need to change. And the people who get stuck working the floor and the college students or the older people who wanted a part-time job or just the random person picking up a second job, however you got into retail, whatever you're doing, it's hard to have a strong voice when you feel like one of a replaceable many. But you do have a voice. And I think that's important, and there needs to be something or some place that a person in retail can reach out to and say, these things aren't being acknowledged. We're being disrespected in this way. That's something I'm kind of passionate about. It's not Black Friday specific, it's just for retailers. It's not fair that they never have. There needs to be a retailer union, okay? I'm just saying that. Honestly, I just wanted to make a video so that everybody can recognize that this is a hard day for retailers. When you are in a store, if you do decide to Black Friday shop, just maybe thank an employee that you see in passing or your cashier, and don't try to make small talk throughout the whole thing because they have a headache and they're exhausted. Unless they're super friendly and cool, then by all means. But if you run into those ones that are tired, give them a break. Like, they're dealing with a lot that day and they're not making a lot of money for doing it. And honestly, it's more to keep a job rather than, oh my god, I wanted to work this holiday. Yay. So just know that. Just know that and be more aware of what we're contributing to. It was projected that last year over $50 billion alone was made on that day. It is a huge consumer holiday. It is something that industries and companies are backing, not the people. I understand the thrill of shopping with massive crowds, looking for those deals, being a sleuth shopper with your coupons, and going with family. I know a lot of the women in my extended family love to get together, get a coffee, go stand in the line, gossip, talk about what presents they're going to get. I get the appeal. I'm not coming down on people for wanting to get together in groups and shop and stuff like that. It's totally okay. But just know that you're contributing to a holiday that affects millions and it just needs to be recognized in a different light. We need to see why it's getting so violent. We need to see what we're really contributing to worldwide when we participate in deals like this. I mean, if you're getting $200 off your TV or you're getting DVDs for $5, the profits are being made somewhere. And you'd think with a profit of $50 billion, stores would be happy, but no, they're just pushing for more. Now they want all of November to be Black Friday. They're calling it Black November. Oh my god, it's getting out of control. You have to start looking into, if companies start giving and offering all of these insane deals, what kind of products are they putting out? How cheap are these? And is it affecting what they're paying labor? I mean, people are being affected by consumer-driven holidays like this. Columbus Day is another one. That holiday is utilized just for retailers to have huge sales. You have to start looking into why these are happening. What's the outcome of taking part in it? Are you contributing to something super negative? Just let's all start to be more aware. Let's start to give recognition to the people who are working really hard, the retail workers, to keep you happy and satisfied, to make sure you're having a great holiday season, and honestly just trying to get through the work shift without getting fired, right? Like, my heart goes out to those retailers on this day. But if you do participate, again, have fun, but maybe start to think about why you're doing it and maybe cutting back or doing it on a different day. That's why I wanted to make this video, just to get a different opinion out there, just to get a conversation started. And I know when I speak to my mom, she loves doing this, and I oftentimes have to say, yeah, it's great, and I love that you're getting deals, but just realize that I'm having to leave Thanksgiving dinner for people who view this day like you do. And then she started thinking about it a little different. So, if you know somebody who works retail, maybe ask them some questions or see what they think about this holiday, quote unquote holiday. But yeah, just get a discussion going and have a different viewpoint of what a consumer driven holiday really means. Anyway, I really hope you had a great Thanksgiving, and I hope you continue to have a great Thanksgiving weekend. This is the start of the holiday season. Happy holidays, everybody, and I will see you next week. Take care.